What's your tell me I'm not the only one who does this weird odd habit? Please like, subscribe and comment so I can create more videos for you. This isn't that weird, but whenever I have a small piece of pizza and a big piece I always eat the small one first so I don't finish the big piece and then become sad because the last piece is a small one. I'll do this with subs that are cut in half too. I don't want to look at the tiny piece and think damn that's all I have left. I learned that most people when out of breath just take deep breaths and get back to normal. I've always had a thing where I had to hit the perfect inhale. When out of breath I'll take several deep breaths but I never feel quite right until I can get this one breath that feels as if it fills up my lungs completely and the others just never made it. I mentioned it in a biology class in high school and that's when I learned I have asthma. I can't talk on a cell phone and sit down at the same time. Got a call while on my, normally, 1 mile walk. Ended the call after 6 miles. Because you're not getting any visual stimulus from the conversation, your brain compensates by getting you to move around a lot. I've been told this is weird. When shopping, I never grab the first one available. Buying a movie, I don't want the one on display. I want any other one behind it. That box of cereal up front looks fine. Then someone else can have it. I have to take the one behind it. I definitely do this too. I think because the item at the front is the display item that gets handled most frequently before purchase, like a book. Had fake conversations in my head, but on occasion say my half of the conversation out loud, either to no one or to anyone in the room if I am not careful. Whenever I wash my face, or submerge my head, I have to wipe my eyelids before I can open them, even if they are not particularly wet. I tap my fingers when my hands are doing anything, but I have to make sure that every finger is tapped the same amount of times, and I only tap one at a time. I tap my index finger, 2x, middle, ring, pinky, thumb, 2x, then back. I continue doing this until I have something to do. Think up conversations I have with strangers then end up never talking to those strangers. Stepped on a crack with my right foot. Now I need to step on one with my left. Oh, but you stepped in the center of the pavement with the last 2 left steps. Better make those next 2 right steps centered to balance it out. Sometimes I find myself walking like a fucking moron to keep some stupid made up rhythmic balance going. When I was in elementary middle school this crap controlled my life. I couldn't walk anywhere without making sure I took the same amount of steps on each foot and always ended on the 4th step. Not a habit so much as a reflex, but oftentimes when I'm thinking of something embarrassing from my past I'll uncontrollably blurt out a random word, phrase or even just a noise, regardless of if I'm alone or in public. Oh my gosh. I do this when I'm driving. I'll think about something I've done that I regret and just be like bellend at the top of my voice. Or twat virtues is another one. I thought I had like a Tourette's thing going on. If there's nobody in house, I'll just talk to myself endlessly and walk around. I cannot watch anything through continuously and silently. I have to pause or interject to riff and commentate. I meow at my cat. I've been meowing at my cats for a while now to the point where I start to do it with my friend's cat. Sometimes I forget not everyone meows at their cats but they're missing out. Me and my cats have great conversations. Whenever I'm talking to someone that has an accent, I slowly start to subconsciously mimic their accent. It makes it seem like I'm mocking him her and I hate it. Why? The other day I was at the grocery store and one of the employees asked me how I was doing but he had a super thick British accent and I replied doing well, mate. You? In a terrible faux British accent and it was so awkward. I'll randomly raise my arm while laying in bed, and just let it stay there as if I'm Hermione Granger in potion class. I did this a lot when I was younger and still do it occasionally. I even fell asleep like that sometimes and woke myself up because of my arm falling. One night, for some reason, I wanted to videotape myself sleeping to see if I did anything weird. About 2 hours in, while asleep, I raised my arm and had it up there for almost 3 minutes before lowering it. I always have to have my feet propped on something when I'm sitting. I usually either perch like a gargoyle or sit cross-legged. I can sit normally when I have to, but I'll either be bouncing a leg or wiggling a foot unless I put in conscious effort. The only positions I'm really comfortable sitting in are either W style or just laying down, sometimes sorta scrunched up, with my knees up resting on something, mainly if I'm in a car or a movie theater. Eventually I'm probably going to end up crippled in a car accident because I was horizontal in the passenger seat. I bite the inside of my cheeks. I can't remember a time when I haven't done it, and I've never been able to break the habit. I do the exact same to the point where I contort my face to get the perfect bit. I look crazy and as if I'm gurning on drugs, but I just can't stop. I don't even notice I'm doing it sometimes, and by the end of the day my jaw aches. I've seen videos of myself on people's Snapchat or whatever in the background, and it makes me cringe seeing myself pout and go to chew my cheeks. I like to hold a pillow when sitting on the couch, although that may be because I don't like people seeing my rolls. I have to hold a pillow too, in couch and in bed, tucked under my chin usually. It's so bad that even on extremely hot days I will sweat myself half to death because I need pillow. If I get home and I really have to pee, I do all my errands before peeing, even if I'm bursting. For example, changing into comfy clothes, putting groceries away. I used to do this until I made the mistake of washing some dishes with warm water first. Won't make that mistake again. I have a weird compulsion to experience equal stimuli. Accidentally scuff your left shoe while walking. Gotta scuff the right one. Oops. That scuff was too hard. Gotta rescuff left again. Just a tad. Damn it. Too much. Rescuff right. Not enough. Scuff again. And. Drat. Too much. Gotta rescuff the left again. Also, I'm not sure how to describe it, but sometimes my nails feel too detached from my fingers. I'll, apply pressure on the pads of my finger, right under the nail, until the nail is entirely touching flesh, then release. But wait, that was too much pressure on my left index. Gotta do the right now, and, damn it. Holy shit, I do that too. Like if I tap the desk with one hand, I have to tap it with my other hand too, but the pressure has to be just right, and if it's not, retap. Or I were to be sitting with one knee propped up, I have to prop up the other knee too. But then it doesn't feel right because one knee was already up for a period of time, so I put that knee down. But then if I put it down, then the side parts of the knee gets exposed while the other is not. So both down. And repeat all over again. What's the explanation for this? I don't think I've ever put a name to it. I have such strong arguments with myself in my head, it will affect my mood. Many times, I've been pissed. I was thinking to myself, wow, that was so uncalled for. Who the fuck would say that? Then I remember it was me to me. Also, I have strong visualizations. Like one time, I cried because our son didn't get his scholarship and we couldn't afford the school he wanted to go to. Then I remember I am 26, financially stable, not married nor do I have kids. Edit, we are all normal, fam. And no, I will not go see a shrink. I do this too. I'll imagine arguing with someone and make myself so mad before I realize it's just me. The other end of the spectrum is when, for some reason, I'll start imagining what would happen if some tragedy happened, like my aunt and uncle getting divorced or both my parents dying, and what the consequences of that would be with zero emotion. It's weird. Someone on Reddit told me once that it was a symptom of OCD, but I've never heard that anywhere else. If I fuck up any part of a song while I'm in the car, I just start singing gibberish until the song is over. I make up random lyrics to beats in my head. It starts as gibberish but eventually evolves into words. I'm recently most proud of the following. Girl, you better pull back my foreskin and check out my penis, cause I'm gonna take this cock and put it between us. I also sang this in a Barry White voice. I count the steps as I walk up and down stairs. Recently it's branched out to counting the steps when I'm walking or any repetitive movement sound. I do the same thing. Sometimes I count all of the steps, sometimes I just keep counting to 10 or 12 and then start over. It's not compulsive like I have to do it, but if I'm alone and not talking to anyone or otherwise preoccupied, I usually resort to counting. Does anyone else crack their back multiple times a day just by subtly adjusting their posture? I can crack the bottom of my spine, like my coccyx, by crossing my ankles and leaning back and pulling them together. Edit, words. I highlight text with the mouse while I'm reading it so I don't lose my place. When I think about doing something, I have to do it. For example, if I am walking somewhere and I think I have to touch that tree, then I must. I know nothing will happen if I do, but if I think it, I must do it. This has come to the point where I'm bringing sticks and rocks home because I think I want that rock. Maybe you should try thinking an opposing thought immediately after, to counter the action. I want that rock. I want that rock to stay exactly where it is and for me to immediately forget about it. When I watch or eat something embarrassing, I put my hand in front of my face and just peek through my fingers like I'm watching a horror movie. I almost always place a TV remote face down on the couch. The buttons are made of what feels like a rubber material and prevent the remote from inadvertently sliding away, particularly when you are putting the remote on the arm of the couch. I need access to water at all times. Going somewhere. Need a water bottle. Bedtime. 2 water glasses. Movie theater featuring salty popcorn. 2 water bottles. Your girl likes to hydrate. I don't understand how people don't drink water. I always have some near me. Soda juice. Hell number. Water. The thought of going to the movies without it makes me cringe. I used to chew plastic. Really bad. Water bottle tops, pen caps, other soft plastic. Was just a nervous tick for a while, and have made a conscious effort to get off the habit, but yeah, it's weird. Checking behind the shower curtain before I sit down to use the bathroom because, yeah, no, murders and such. I sleep with a shirt on my face. Keeps out the light, and partially blocks noise over my ears. Eating round sandwiches, burgers, even cookies, around the edge so that the filling doesn't fall off. I brush my teeth like a fucking monster. Toothpaste drips everywhere, and half the toothbrush and my hand will be covered with toothpaste by the end of the carnage. I don't know how to explain this, but here we go. Say I have a plate of food. I'll automatically try and find the perfect bit of the meal and eat it last, eating around the perfect bit. Please tell me I'm not the only one. P. You're not, lol. I'm the same way, but only with things that have icing or other toppings. I pick the one with the most and go from least to most. I have to get my hands wet before I put soap on when I wash them. I think that soap is uncomfortable to touch with dry hands. Yes, your hands definitely have to be wet. I always wet my toothbrush before, and after, putting toothpaste on too. I flush the toilet while I am still peeing in a way that I finish peeing just as the water finally goes down the pipe. I don't know how much time this actually saves, but I've been doing it for years, so it's a habit now. Edit. Holy shit, this blow up. Rip my inbox. I seriously though that very few people did this, but it would appear that I was extremely mistaken. I stopped flushing with the lid up at all after I read about the amount of piss shit bacteria that sprays around when you flush. Always a closed lid flush for me. In a public toilet with no lid, I step almost out the door then hit the flush lever with my foot. While playing a game, watching a movie, I constantly adjust the volume up and down subconsciously to even out the booming background music and people talking. I do this even more when others are watching. Wet my hands before scrubbing with liquid soap. Everyone else seems to do soap first, but I just feel like the soap is sticky and doesn't lather well unless my hands are wet first. Wet my toothbrush before I put toothpaste on and then immediately after. When in a moving car on a residential street, driving or not, I lift toes on my right foot when a driveway on the right lines up with the front of the car, and put them back down when the car has passed. Same with left foot. Pretty sure I'm on the spectrum. I do this but I make little noises. I do the same with the lines on the road. When you match up with the line you get a special boop. I could easily go to the search bar on Netflix and look for the title, but I absolutely need to go through all Netflix manually to find the title. I don't know why, but I like looking for it rather and using the search and saving way more time. Whenever I have a drink with a straw, once I finish the drink I take out the straw, fold it up, then chew on it like it's gum for a while till I feel the need to spit it out. Oh hell yay. Then you get it back in your molars and have your spit absorb into the folds and then squeeze out when you chomp down. Sometimes when I lie on my side, one eye will see with a blue hint and the other will have a red hint. Caused by the different eyes getting different amounts of different colors of light on average. Try for example closing one eye, and then shining a bright phone torch into it. You will see red in that eye, since the light goes through your eyelid which is red. After a minute of that, open both eyes, and you find that that eye now sees blue and green much more than red, and all colors look weird for a few minutes. I eat stick pretzels by breaking them in half and swallowing the pieces whole. Yes, sometimes I almost choke, but this doesn't stop me. I bite off the top layer of caramel from a Twix and then just eat the cookie part plain. For some reason, I always give my deodorant a big ol' whiff before putting it on. Just gotta remind myself what I smell like, I guess. I thought I was one of the few, but I found a bunch of people on Reddit that do this. I need to fall asleep with the TV on, but it has to be a show I've already watched, because I just stay up and watch the new show. With Netflix I usually cycle through The Office, Parks and Rec, Scrubs, and Him when they were on. I love Hulu, but it will play 4 hours where Netflix shuts down after episodes, which is the perfect time to fall asleep. If the TV is on all night then I don't sleep as well. When I'm watching any video on my iPhone, I have this uncontrollable habit of clicking on the screen to make the time bar reappear. It's tearing me apart. I always save the best part of the meal for the end. So if I have a slice of cake, I'll eat the main cake first, then scoop all the icing. If I'm eating BBQ, the burnt ends or where the most seasoning is gets reserved for the last bite. Weirdest is cookie dough ice cream. I'll push all the cookie dough at the side, eat basic vanilla, then have a giant glob of cookie dough. I sleep with a blanket. I don't care if it's hot or cold. I cannot sleep without a blanket of a formidable weight on top of me. I sing random, impromptu songs to my dog and cat. Hello, kitty. I hope you're not too shitty. Cause it would be a pity if you were not the greatest kitty in the city. Or, puppy needs to go outside. Gotta pee and poo, just like me and you. Doo doo pee doo. Pee and poo. The neighbors think I'm nuts. I tend to rewrite songs with a doggy twist and sing them to my dog, mostly when we're riding in the car playing the radio. For example, the last song I can recall that I did this to was Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, and it went a little something like this. Cause he's a good boy who heckin' loves car rides, and he's wanting a treat, or some free IEIs. I always keep the volume on even numbers. I don't know why that is, and I'd really like to know if I'm not the only one who does it. I love to press under my fingernails to feel the shooting pain go into my finger. Normally I'm not a masochist, but that pain hurts so good. Whenever I have my dog in my car and we see another dog either walking or in another car, I always bark at the dog just to build his confidence and remind him that I'm the pack leader. It gets really awkward sometimes at stoplights. Looking at someone and fantasizing about a life together with her. Fantasizing about the everyday companionship that we'd have together. Cooking dinner together. Going shopping for clothes together. Waking up before her and what I'd have to do to be quiet so I don't wake her. Sitting on the couch both, reading and being okay with the silent company. Or maybe that's just a lonely person thing. I don't know. If I'm eating in front of the TV, I hate to eat when the adverts are on. Or at least, I never start my food during adverts. I'll sit down and wait till the program has started again. When I get home, I have to immediately put on pajama pants or gym shorts. I can't stand lounging in jeans or shorts. Also, not so much anymore, but when I was younger, if I spun around I had to spin back around the same amount of times and volume had to be an even number. I hold my pen like this. WordPress web page kinda looks weird when I compare it with other people. Found out it's called the Quadripop grip. There are other ways to hold a pen. I just thought this was how everyone did it. I eat a lot of foods in a weird way. Basically the entire strategy revolves around saving the best part for last. For example, I eat oatmeal cream pies, processed as fuck Little Debbie snack, by first detaching the two cookie sides and then eating all of the outer edge until I have only cream left. Then I try to eat away as much cookie to leave only cream. I also chew on the wrappers of muffins like gum because they retain the flavor of the muffin really well. I feel like this is actually a hidden gem, but I still don't do it in public. Edit. After reading what I just wrote, I am pretty sure I'm on the spectrum. I eat any round thing, cookies, pancakes, hamburgers, by going around the outside first and then going inside. This has two salutary effects. 1. It gets any over or undercooked parts out of the way first, and 2. It stops anyone else from asking for a bite since now my spit's been on every part. Try to guess if the number of stairs is odd or even and if can climb them 2 by 2 or not. I have to double tap the top of soda or any other tabbed cans before I open them. I've done it since I was a kid and don't know why. I like to pluck my nose hairs with my fingers. It's like a competition for me to see how many hairs I can grab at one tug. I eat my pizza by taking the first bite, then turning it around and eating it from the crust downwards so that I save the best bite for last. If my wife is topless and laying on her back, I'll straddle her to where I'm sitting on her waist. Then I'll grab each boob with a hand and then proceed to use her boobs like I'm driving a mech. Complete with sound effects. It's easy for each step I take, and when I come across enemy matches, I fire the laser cannons by literally pressing down on her nipples with my thumbs and making pew 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 noises. All these comments are habits that at least 80% of the population does, but nobody talks about it so they don't know that it is actually normal. I can't eat in my house unless all the toilets are closed. Grosses me out if they're open. I check each toilet before I eat every time. Yes, I fake having to use the bathroom at others people's houses to close the toilets. If it really inconveniences me to do it though, I can still eat with them open. Same if it's a toilet that has no lid. It's weird. I have to check that the stove oven are off for like 60 seconds straight, looking between the two multiple times, before I go to bed or leave the house. Edit. Clarity. Act like you're using your phone when you see someone you know but don't wanna talk with them. I'm pretty sure everyone does this. At the very least I can tell you that I do. If I'm out with a group of friends I never announce that I'm leaving. I will go use the bathroom and duck out the back entrance, say I have to take a call and not return, etc. I always think if I announce that I'm leaving, the second I leave everyone will start talking about me behind my back. This is a symptom of social anxiety. I was doing things like that and thinking it was normal, but turns out I had a problem. Not saying you do, but perhaps read up about it. Hope you are doing okay.